It's a newsworthy report, you know, and I want to know why Jeff Teague decided to like just do what he did to LeBron.
He was on steroids, bro. He had to sit out. He was on steroids for real.
Now give me
Like legit was on steroids, bro. I'm allegedly, but like he had to sit out. But y'all remember when they told him like they
there
gonna
goes the
start?
Clutch Sports allegations.
Y'all remember that though?
No,
When they was like he got everybody, they started testing for HGH, and they was like, yo, and he had to sit out. Like he said his back was hurt, and he sat out for like 3 weeks, and he came back skinny. This is just I was in the league. I remember, and he came back in. He was crazy though.
Why does it seem like every single player that played against LeBron in the Eastern Conference, in particular, for some reason, in the Eastern Conference, I noticed it. You correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like every single player out of the Eastern Conference that played in the Eastern Conference around the time LeBron was going off, they seem to have like this incredible issue with LeBron to the point where they like to act like, yeah, you know, LeBron's like my favorite, one of my favorite players, and I respect him so much, what he's done for the game. Nobody was like him. LeBron was he was such a beast. He played like he was on steroids. And then, you know, Jeff Teague was like, yeah, LeBron, he was on steroids, man. There was nothing we could do. Because, you know, he was legitimately on steroids. You see what I'm saying? You can't say stuff like that and then the next day come on Instagram or wherever he posted. I know I saw a video about it where he said, yeah, you know, LeBron, I was joking. You can't joke about stuff like that. You can't throw allegations because, mind you guys, this is a basketball player. That's like telling a Muslim, yeah, I bagged you. I saw you smacking that swine at that store one day. Yeah, you told them niggas extra swine. I heard you, right? And obviously it was extra turkey or something, right? That's like slandering a Muslim man and telling the Muslim man, yeah, I peeped you ripping swine the other day, when in fact he didn't. But if you saw that man's receipt and it said extra swine, now we have a different story. You may not have seen him eat the swine, but you saw the receipt. And the same goes for LeBron with his biogenesis stuff. Why is LeBron's name listed in the report where hundreds of baseball players got bagged and nicked for ripping and chugging PEDs into their system? That's the receipt right there, man. And as a LeBron fan, as someone who's vouched for LeBron all these years, it does suck to hear this report coming out once again, only because I don't know what to believe yet. And it may be because I'm a LeBron fan that I may be in denial about the fact, you know, LeBron's like, you have to realize LeBron, he's my favorite player. Like, he's been my favorite player since 2008, bro. Like the first year removed from his NBA Finals on the Cavs, like, he's been my favorite player. As soon as he left Cleveland, went to Miami, I was a Miami fan too as well. I was a D-Wade and LeBron fan at the time. LeBron was creeping up to be one of my favorite players after that Finals run. Obviously, the year before that, my boy Wade won the chip with Shaq, so obviously I was geeked up for him. I was a Heat fan. That was my first team I ever watched nationally in terms of televised games. First NBA Finals I ever watched was Dwayne Wade. So he was my Michael Jordan. He was my exposure to basketball. So LeBron comes to Miami and takes over Dwayne Wade's spot. So then naturally I ended up leaning over towards LeBron, even though that was becoming the case slowly but surely, right? So my question to everybody is, what do you guys think of this? What do you think LeBron, I just think people have a vendetta against LeBron that played against him in the East that couldn't make it out the East End. You couldn't make it out the East End. You couldn't sniff the Larry O'Brien because of LeBron. And it seems to me that really rubbed you guys the wrong way. That the one, especially, you know, players like Jeff Teague, who walked away from the game ringless. You know, these guys are competitors, you know, they play to win. Now they enter their careers. Yeah, they made some money, but they don't got a championship to say, you know what I'm saying, much. You know what I mean? And that really must hurt these players to the point where they have to, like, you know, sneak this LeBron on the low and disguise it as, you know, a joke, but it's really, what are you really trying to say here? Are you really trying to ruin someone's 20-something year career over PED bombs. You know, this whole PED stuff is so funny because, yeah, he's listed in receipts, but in terms of, we still don't know if he actually tested positive because he's never tested positive. And you can say designer drugs, designer this, designer that. I feel like the people who check and drug test these athletes today are at an all-time high in technology. I feel like there's nothing that should go past. But at the same time, people are going to say that there are drugs that people are getting that can make you go past and go unnoticed and undetected. And, you know, make you go unnoticed and make you go undetected in these PED tests. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's trainer in 1989, said that Jordan gained 15 to 20 pounds of mass so he can bump on the block against the bad boy Pistons. And that was due to the fact that, what did Jordan do? He lost, first 10 seasons basically of his career, he was coughing it up to Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas. So much so that he didn't even want Isaiah Thomas on the Dream Team, Team USA, and threatened not to play on it. And obviously the NBA is going to listen to that nigga because he's their moneymaker. He was, Black Jesus. I can't believe we're comparing Jesus to this gambling, bourbon-sipping, freaking bald-headed nugget of a man that needed everything in between to win it all 6 times. Nigga needed the best 7-foot shooter out of Europe, probably one of the first European shooters, snipers that came in the early 90s. He needed Tony Kukoc, right? He needed Steve Kerr, one of the greatest three-point shooters at that time. Granted, he wasn't getting the touches he should have got, but you get the point. The best two-way wing of all time at that time, Scottie Pippen. The best rebounder in the NBA at Dennis Rodman. Mind you, grabbed him straight out of Detroit, but then when LeBron goes and leaves so he can beat Boston, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's just so cute to me how these Jordan lesbians, these dykes, like to defend him. And let's come with the facts, though. Why are you guys forgetful? Huh? Jordan needed to rip a player from his ops. So Durant going to the Warriors, it's the same thing as Durant going to the Warriors. You can say it's not, but it basically is when you think about it. That's like Durant saying, yeah, Draymond, come over to Golden State. We need you. Come over to OKC. We need you. Even though we just lost to you guys, we need you. Come so we can beat your squad. It's the same thing. I don't care what you guys say. It's the same thing. Jordan would stoop that low to win. And he stooped that low before. Jordan used to sock his teammates in the face for no reason because they weren't on the same page as him. Right? Kobe used to mollywop Sasha Vujacic to get him to become a dog and get mad. Bro, all these people, bro, they say these things, but in reality, Jordan and Kobe were dickheads. They were dickheads. They were toxic basketball players that wanted to win by any means necessary, and it cost them relationships and it cost them morale. But in the end, they snuck away with some chips. Right? You better win it all. You got Shaquille O'Neal on your squad. Nigga eats like 3 Big Macs, hops on the court. By halftime, he already hungry again because he just dropped 25 and 15 in the first half. Like, yeah, you better win with Shaq. You better win Jordan with Phil Jackson. You better win with Scottie Pippen. You better win with Dennis Rodman. So why does it seem to me that Jordan, the guy who would do all that to win, bring this whole roster together to win, you're telling me that nigga didn't stroke some PEDs? You're lying. That nigga definitely did. You know what I'm saying? There's a saying that, I forgot who said it. It was some journalist I watched a video on. He said, I think it was about Neil Armstrong. He was a big American man. You know what I'm saying? And he said, everybody is playing on a playing field. It's just not the playing field that you think it is, if that makes sense. So the playing field that they're talking about is basically, it's above what you think it is, which means everybody's ripping steroids. Nate Diaz said it in the UFC as well. Like, everybody's ripping roids. Everybody's ripping... Bro, when you're putting millions of dollars on the line, and these guys are getting injured, and these guys need to recover fast so they can meet the eligibility so they can get this max contract. When you're putting $500 million on the line for a player, and that's what's going on. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at all these guys making $300 to $500 million. Jaylen Brown. Like, when you're putting that type of money on the line, people have no choice, it seems to me, but to go that route and rip PEDs. People seem to have no choice. And not to say I would, and this is why I feel like we have to put Joker in the top 5 greatest players of all time, even though he only has one championship. Because he seems to be the one player that did everything correctly and organically and in a way where it's like you can't argue with him. Yeah, he has some defensive lapses, but at the end of the day, if we're basing the greatest player of all time off being a defender and offensively sound, then that's bullshit, because you can't have it all. Jordan was a two-way player, but he couldn't shoot the three, right? Kobe was a two-way player, but he had big problems with his field goal percentage and volume of shooting. You like we can keep going. The list can keep going on and on and on. Like, we can keep chatting about that. You get me? Like, niggas don't have it, but Joker, to have the PER you have as Nikola Jokic, surpassing Jordan and LeBron in player efficiency rating, why does he need defense to prove more? So that's where I'm at with in terms of Nikola Jokic. I don't see the problem with putting that nigga top 3 all the time. I can't think of 3 NBA players I'm picking over Nikola Jokic. I can't. You can probably, but I can't. I could think of LeBron. I could think of who? That's it. I can only think of LeBron over Joker. Like, I'm not picking Durant over him because Durant's one-dimensional, right? He can provide passing. He can provide some boards. He can provide some points in his career. He can provide some great defense, but Durant's one-dimensional. Joker has no weakness. On the defensive side, his weaknesses are shielded as well because he's a good team defender. You know what I'm saying? He shares the front court with Aaron Gordon. He's a good team. He can move his feet enough to help team defense. You know what I'm saying? In terms of team defense, yes. So you get my point. I would like to know your thoughts down below about all this swaggy stuff, man.